salty Gulf Coast to the rolling high plains, to the piney woods in the east. All across our dear Texas, folks need good food to eat. Our farmers and ranchers are heroes. They've always made Texas great. Texas agriculture matters. It's the heart of the Lone Star State. Oh, Texas got it all, y'all.
Well, howdy, neighbors. I'm your Texas Agriculture Commissioner, Sid Miller. Hey, thank you for joining us for another episode of Texas Agriculture Matters, and right here on RFD-TV. Today, we're going to talk about farming into the future. We're going to talk about drone technology and how it's rapidly growing in popularity across business sections in the United States. You know, from real estate to delivering packages, the use of drones has broken through many traditional barriers. Now, technological advancements are a key factor in our ever-growing agriculture industry. Farmers and ranchers are constantly looking for new ways to maximize productivity and efficiency while still maintaining some profitability. And some Texas farmers and ranchers think drones just might be the answer. Now, drone technology can be used to detect stray livestock, monitor water quality, scout for pests and diseases, and hey, even spray your crops. For some farms and ranches, drone use has become an essential part of their operation. And for those who are skeptical, the agriculture drone market is expected to grow as much as $5 billion in 2024. Proving the adoption of drone use in agriculture saves time. It increases your workflow and benefits a wide range of agriculture production. Now, let's join Tammy Arnder as she visits a Texas-made precision crop care company, Helio, to talk about the future of farming. Drone technology, hey, just another way Texas agriculture matters.
In a field in southeast Texas, these guys are test flying one of their latest spray drones.
Helio is a company that designs, manufactures, and then offers crop spraying drones. So these are drones for precision crop applications. Basically crop dusters, but autonomous flying unmanned vehicles.
Arthur Erickson is one of the co-founders of Helio. He studied aerospace engineering at UT Austin. He didn't have a farming background, but being from Texas, he knew the importance of agriculture.
I'm very proud of the idea that Texas has its own energy grid, that we have tech, we have bio. I want us to have a very thriving ag economy as well. I think that's a very good source of jobs. It's a great source, not just for internal, like domestic money, but also Texas being this economic powerhouse that can export crops and stuff is obviously going to be great for the country, great for the state.
So he and his business partner set out to create a drone that could deliver herbicides, fungicides, and pesticides to row crops and reduce the amount of drift.
So you can look at the drone like it's a flying tractor boom that has downwash that helps push the spray down into the crop, which mitigates the potential risk of drift, right? So it's a very accurate flying tractor boom is how you could look at it. And it's autonomous too. So essentially, when you use our software interface, you're defining an area that you want this thing to treat. You're giving it a dosage, like 2 or 3 gallons per acre, a height, a speed you want it to fly at, and then you're just clicking go. So it's an automatic, accurate tractor boom. So wherever you want to go spray really accurately, without a lot of headache, without thinking about it, without running your tractor and getting hours on it or getting it stuck in the mud, that's where this thing comes in.
Drones have been an integral part of agriculture technology for several years, but mostly for crop inspection, field mapping, and photography. But these spray drones add an entirely new layer of precision technology.
Actually, surprisingly, it looks smaller physically, but it has a pretty wide spray pattern. And that's because when the liquid comes out, it comes out almost like a Christmas tree pattern. So the downwash, again, from the propellers is going to spread it out. So on this drone, right here pictured behind me, it's actually only about 8 feet across or even less than that physically, but its spray width is going to be about 30 feet. So it's wider than you would imagine. It's not quite 120 feet, that's true, but it's wider than you think. And the drones are actually flying much faster than a tractor typically would traverse. So you're going usually maybe 25, 26 miles per hour, zipping up and down the field. So that gives you the efficiency you need to actually cover several acres.
Erickson says they know some farmers are hesitant to get into this type of technology because of the learning curve and regulations regarding unmanned aircraft.
We're seeing a lot of positive progress from the FAA, from the EPA. So it used to be that there was a lot of restrictions, especially flying bigger drones, and there's a lot of paperwork. They've really streamlined that process. It used to take 8-9 months to get that paperwork. Now it's only about a month or two.
Erickson says they're constantly looking at new technology that can even improve upon what they already offer. He says he hopes to one day make a drone that can practically change its own battery and payload. But for now, he's excited that their USA-made products are having an impact on the world's most important industry, agriculture.
Really think about it, especially people my generation, a little bit younger. They're out working tech jobs in the city. They don't really think about where their food comes from, but it's a massive industry. It's the biggest human industry, right? Feeding everyone. So it's not just we're selling you a drone, but we're selling you an experience, right? We're selling you our expertise, our knowledge of the ag space, our knowledge of the drone itself. So when you buy the drone, the machine, it's not just a drone, you're getting an army of people helping you out, making sure that you're successful with the product.
I'm Tammy Arender for Texas Agriculture Matters.
That was great. Thanks, Tammy. Hey, folks, today it's my pleasure to have Matt Mahler joining us. Matt is an agriculture drone pilot and owner of Mahler Enterprises. Matt, thanks for being with us on the show.
Appreciate it. We're glad to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So, farm and ranch in North Texas, there in Wichita Falls, and we operate a drone spraying operation for conservation research and cropland. So we've been spraying with autonomous drones, doing herbicide, fertilizer, and range and pasture now since about 2018.
Really? That long?
It's been a while now. So we're finally getting to where we act like we know what we're doing.
So that's always been very fascinating to me, and it's got to be pretty economical, right?
Yeah. So
compared to typical aerial spraying or boom spraying on the ground.
Right. So it's much more controlled, and compared to helicopters, airplanes, and the bigger equipment, much more environmentally friendly. So there's a lot of benefits.
But talk about your company a little bit, how your business brings the science, technology, and all this engineering and applies it to ag.
Right. So a lot of what we do is vegetation management. So for range and pasture, whether it be invasive species control or prickly pear eradication, we'll go in, look at satellite imagery, and then send the drones back in to actually target individual species with the drone, spray them with herbicide, and let the natural perennial grasses come back. And but outside of that, on the crop spraying side, it's a lot of broadcast fertilizer, a lot of fungicide applications through corn, and spraying areas that are hard to reach with bigger aircraft.
Let me see if I get this right. You can actually program that drone to recognize a prickly pear and just spray it?
Right, that's correct.
I'll be darned.
We're doing a lot of that in Central Texas in the Brownwood area, to where we'll go in and spray several hundred acres in a matter of a couple days. And we'll use maybe 10% of the product that a broadcast application would. So
that's efficient, real efficient.
Very good technology.
So out of curiosity, what got your interest in using drones? Where did that come from? What led up to this point that you actually started operating drones?
So back in about 2018, we were doing a lot of invasive species control there on our personal operation. And we're noticing some of the downsides to broadcasting herbicide for mesquite, weed hatch control. And the innovations were coming from overseas, and one thing led to another, and we figured that we could save a tremendous amount of money for the producer, cut back on herbicide and things like that if we could program these drones to identify certain species that we were targeting. And after some conservation plans and different scientific improvements on the aircraft side, that's how we got here.
Well, see, and that's another great environmental story that we don't tell as people in agriculture, that we're using 10% of the pesticides we used to use. I mean, that's we got to get that out there.
Right. So, yeah, using a lot less pesticide, and you don't have the runoff, you don't have the drift onto neighboring properties or specialty crops that might be in the area. All these drones run off of battery power, so we're not using fossil fuels. There's no jet fuel or gasoline, diesel that's being burned. So it's a lot more environmentally friendly is also a big takeaway.
So there's lots and lots of benefits we hadn't even thought of using drones.
Right.
Okay. Well, what else can you tell us about it? How widespread is this? Are you the only person in Texas doing this? Are there other companies that have that are, is this evolving? Is it catching on?
Yeah, it's definitely a growing market, and we're by no means the only folks doing it. We like to think that we do a great job, and we have a superior customer base that we tend to. A lot of stuff going on in the Midwest with the corn fungicide right now. I think that's where the biggest market is.
Okay.
We're putting a lot of focus into the forestry world in East Texas and going that direction, doing clear-cut spraying and things, and just kind of figuring out markets to where they have the most benefit to our customers.
Fascinating stuff. Hey, folks, we're going to have to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more from Matt right here on Texas Agriculture Matters. Stay tuned. Well, welcome back, folks, to Texas Agriculture Matters. I'm your host, Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller. Now, let's continue our talk with Matt Mahler of Mahler Enterprises. Matt, talk about the different ways we can utilize these drones. What all can we do with them?
Yeah, so there's many different uses across agriculture, especially in our business. One of our biggest uses initially to take a drone out and do what's called an NDVI scan, and that's going to look at crop health using the way that light reflects off of leaves. So you can look at stand counts, you can look at any kind of pest infestations you might have, take that data, load that into the computer, and then make prescription maps off of that to go out and actually treat the crops with the spray drones. So that's a big help on the front side. We're using light detection and ranging lasers now to do conservation plans and draw out waterways, terraces, things like that based off topography maps. And that can all be done by flying a drone, putting that data in the computer, and letting the model do its thing.
Now, drones have come a long way in just 5 years. What are some of these technological improvements that we're seeing?
So a lot of what we've seen is just the capacity. On the spray drone side, when you're actually going to physically go make a herbicide or a fertilizer application, we've got drones now that can hold 10, 15 gallons to where years ago we were in the 2 to 3 gallon range. So capacity has increased. Battery life, these are all electric. We can now fly for nearly an hour to where we were lucky to get 30 minutes.
Wow. So 20 gallons. So your capacity per gallon per acre is got to be reduced, right?
Right. And so with the different application methods, we've seen that we can put out less product over the same amount of acres and go out in that 3 to 5 gallon to the acre range to where traditional, we might have been in the 10 gallon to the acre range with a broadcast method of a boom type sprayer. So there's a lot of efficiencies there as well. So
now you got my brain moving, this cowboy logic's kicking in. This drone is hovering what? You can put it 18 inches over the crop?
Well, usually you spray anywhere from 10 to 12 feet on crop.
10 to 12 feet, but you've got downward pressure, right?
Correct. With the multi-rotor blades that are on there, it's actually going to push that product out, if you're on a broadcast application, to about 25 feet, and that would be your swath width.
So it's just like pushing it down into the plant.
Right.
That's got to be great.
Yeah, it uses the thrust to actually put those droplets down there on both sides of the leaf, so you get coverage in a crop field.
Yeah,
that's
it's
correct.
enough to just move them.
Complete coverage.
Okay.
So.
Where do you see drone technology headed now that we've talked about where it is today? What's coming up?
So I think what's on the horizon and what's already here in some places is just the legalities and the permitting. Is going to be all autonomous systems that do the refill and the battery changes themselves. You'll have a farmer watching these drones make applications from an iPad across town, and they'll be working completely on their own. When they finish one field, they'll fly to another one and start there, all from a push of a button, and it'll be completely autonomous, just like the rest of the equipment in the ag world is.
We're going to increase capacity, we're going to increase battery life.
That's right.
Which also increases efficiency.
Right.
So where do you reload these things? Do they have to come? They don't come back to the airport?
No. Currently they
land
do it
in the field?
Yeah, they land on a truck, and you have a crew in the field that reloads it and sends it back out directly on site. So it lands up on top of a landing deck mounted to a truck with herbicide.
Well, that's got to save a lot of time.
It does. It's a big benefit rather than having to ferry all the way back to an airport like a traditional aircraft would. So.
Last question. Why do you think Texas agriculture matters?
Well, that's a good question. And knowing that Texas is a leading producer in many, many commodities, we've got vast terrain, whether it be the plains of North Texas, going to the piney woods, East Texas, all the way down into what we see in the Rio Grande Valley. Texas is they have to be on the leading edge because the rest of the world and the rest of the country is watching. It's very, very important that Texas stays on top and promotes agriculture as a whole. And that's very important from many aspects.
Matt, thanks for being with us today.
I appreciate it.
Keep up this new technology. We've got to continue to produce more with less.
That's right.
And you're making that happen. So thanks for being with us today. Hey, folks, now we're going to take a look at another one of our great Go Texan partners. For over 20 years, the Texas Department of Agriculture's Go Texan program has helped promote products made right here in the Lone Star State. From boots to salsa, Go Texan members make the best stuff on earth. Now, friends, let's take a look at one of these fine Texas businesses and why they are Go Texan proud.
Go Texan every day.
Texas-made products, Texas boots. I mean, Texas is kind of known for Western, and I think there's a lifestyle that comes with cowboy boots, that comes with a cowboy hat, that comes with Texan is honesty, it's integrity, it's values, it's morals, and I think that's we put in every one of our boots, made in the USA, made in Texas. We build boots for hard wear and tear, for cowboys, for horse trainers, for people who beat them up and wear them in. And so to do that, you have to use the best materials with the best construction and doing things the right way with integrity. It's the same way with the morals, with the ethics, with the way people in the Western industry live their life. We build our boots for those folks. What makes a boot tough is the insides. We call it the integrity. It's an overused word, but it's doing what's right when nobody's looking. And that's the thing, you can look at a great boot from the outside and you go, is that really built right? And to the naked eye, you don't know, but once you've worn it and you've used it and you've ridden horses all day long and you get off that horse and you start spraying off the horse and you start cleaning the stalls and you're wet, dry, sweat, broken, you start realizing this is a well-made boot. It is a tool, and especially if you're doing this for a living, you need good tools. You can't have a boot fall apart whenever you're in that cutting horse and you're training a horse and your boot, your heel falls off the boot and you're slipping off and you get hung up. From the soles to the leather, the guts of the boot are the most important part, but it's the part that nobody sees until you've worn them. And that's what our customers wear them well and come back for more. If you're gonna build quality boots, you gotta have good quality material. So we've got team members here that some of them are great at stitching, some of them are great at strength and pulling leather and stretching and molding the boot. Some people are really good at pegging, doing little wood pegs in every boot, and so finding that right mix. We take a lot of pride in building everything here, and you see certain things that are assembled in the United States with imported parts. We build everything here, from the leather suppliers, from the materials. We try to buy everything we can here in the U.S. to build good quality products with integrity, with handmade folks right there in South Texas. What we really try to do is we try to take and learn and listen from our customers. We don't dictate what styles are going to be popular in spring of 2022, or try to say these are the color lines, these are the fashion lines, this is a toe. We listen to what our retailers are looking for, and then we try to deliver that product. So when people talk about custom boots, we make custom boots every day, but we build them for retailers. And as much as the world wants to say direct to consumer is where we need to go, we are wholesale only. We support our retailer partners. We know that we know our position. Our lane in the industry is to be a wholesaler. And we've got a crew of boot makers down here in South Texas that know how to do it. There's a long history here. We've been doing it since the turn of the century. And it's a craft, it's an art. There are artisans that are doing this. And one of the things that really, one thing to build boots in the United States, another thing to use American-made products and materials and suppliers. So we take a lot of value in that. I'm telling you, we've got lots of retailers on the West Coast and East Coast, and Aspen and Vail, they want the lifestyle. They want that Western way of life. And it means a lot doing it here in Texas. And I mean, Texas is extremely focused on making business friendly here. And we live it, we breathe it, we love it. And thankfully, people appreciate it. So what made us join the Go Texan program is Pat Moody, who was the president of the company for years, handled all of the sales and marketing. And when the Go Texan program really released and came to us, inviting us to be a part of it, we said, this is fabulous. Manufacturing, products, quality things made from Texas, and we wanted to support the cause. And that give us that platform to be able to put that in our marketing and for them to be able to push us. I mean, we're a small company down here in South Texas, and the more you can get publicity and to be a part of such a huge campaign as the Go Texan program and being at the state fair and being in front of so many eyeballs, it's a big deal for us. And putting that logo on our website and putting it on our marketing is a big deal. Texas agriculture matters for so many reasons. Farming, ranching, I mean, our core customer is the guy that's riding horses every day, the guy that's training, the guy that's raising the feed and the hay for these animals. Cutting horse world, gosh, the center of that is all in that Fort Worth area, Decatur, Weatherford. But everywhere you go in most of Texas, agriculture is a big part of it. I mean, just even down here, sugarcane, cotton, sorghum, vegetable growing. These guys are working in their boots every day, and especially whenever you demand a lot from your product, you need good quality products. And so our boots aren't made for everybody, but it's those who know and use the product as a tool. So, I mean, Texas is farming, ranching, training, cutting horse, reining horse. It's an everyday way of life for a lot of this state. Ryan Vaughn with Rios and Mercedes Boot Company, and I am Go Texan proud.
Well, neighbors, thank you for joining us for another episode of Texas Agriculture Matters. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about precision agriculture and the use of drone technology. This new generation of farming and ranching brings a big picture outlook to previously established agriculture approaches, improving accuracy and elevating all our production. Now, as technology continues to evolve and grow, the agriculture industry will see more dependable drone usage for farming and ranching operations. As always, I'd like to close by saying thanks to every Texas farmer and rancher who works from sunrise to sunset to help keep our rural heritage alive. Finally, folks, here's today's cowboy logic. Intellectuals are problem solvers. Now, geniuses, they prevent problems from happening. Thank you. God bless you. And remember, friends, Texas agriculture matters.